Hi, I'm Susan Febriantina, the student of doctoral program in Human Resource Management, Universitas Negeri Jakarta. In this time, I would like to present my presentation regarding to the linking of strategic human resource management and human capital management. And this presentation is fulfilled for fulfilling final examination of Strategic Human Resource Management with the lecturer, Professor Dr. Hamida MSI, and Dr. Widya Parimita SA MPA. So let's check it out. All right. These are the outline that I'm going to present. The first one is introduction, and then the literature review goes to discussion and conclusion. So let's start by the introduction, the background of this topic. Start from uncertainty and competitive business dynamics, which are forcing organizations to reconsider their strategy to achieve long-term competitive advantage. Indeed, the organization or the business landscape is characterized by constant change, uncertainty situation, and intense competition, right? So to navigate all these challenges and achieve long-term competitive advantage, organizations need to adapt, need to prepare their strategy. And then the second, the key to achieving and sustaining competitive advantage is owning and creating unique, hard to imitate resources. So the key is how to find, how to manage unique, different with others, hard to imitate resources. No one can imitate. So this is really important. So strategic human resource management also manage people, focus on the assets that are critical to organization competitive advantage. And also, human capital management involves treating people, treating employees as valuable assets. So, sustained competitive advantage today is no longer rooted in the physical resources of the organization, but on human resources as asset, as stated in human capital management. So that's why strategic human resource management and human capital management are interconnected, especially in managing and optimizing human resource. But what kind of a human resource? Unique, different with others, hard to imitate. To support the organizations to get strategic objectives, especially to get competitive advantage. Okay. Then let's see the theoretical review of strategic human resource management and human capital management. So strategic human resources management is an approach to the development and implementation of human resource strategies which are integrated with business strategies and enable the organization to achieve their goals. That's strategic human resources management. And this approach involves how to treat employees as valuable assets, as a great assets, and recognize the important role they will play in achieving organizational success, while Human capital management represents the human factors in organization which combine the intelligence of human resource, their skills, their expertise, that gives the organization the distinctive character for competitive advantage. So human capital considered as the main assets of organization and also business. So every organization, of course, needs to invest in such assets. What for? To ensure their organizational survival and growth. So, strategic human resource management and human capital management are integrated. Let's see. Let's move to our focus variable of human capital management history. Okay. Firstly, human capital management is, what is it? How do I say it? Mentioned firstly by Adam Smith with his theory of the acquisition of talent during the education, study, cause a real expense, which is this all is capital of the person. Then in 1897, Irving Fisher, with his theory, The Living Capital of the United Kingdom, for their term, living capital, as opposed to debt capital. Which one is living capital? And which one is debt capital? Living capital means the employee itself as the assets. And debt capital means tangible assets. Then Mincer in 1958 comes with his theory of investment in human capital and personal income distribution. Also Schultz in 1961 with his theory, The Return of Investment in Human Capital through Education and Training, he found that resources with higher education and more training will be greater. And will be greater also than physical capital investment. Then in 1964, Gary Becker, in his theory, human capital is similar to physical means of production. It means that it will be nothing without focusing on human capital because it's really important part of the production of an organization. So let's see how is the human capital theoretical review, the definition of human capital stated by previous researcher. Pradana et al. 2020 said that human capital is a set of knowledge, skills, and abilities that individual possess and use in the workplace. Knowledge, skills, and abilities. Chaudhry et al. Knowledge, skills, abilities, and other characteristics that are important to be possessed. Employees to act to achieve organizational goals. And then train et al. The accumulated of knowledge, skills, and abilities of employees Then, Carfagna-Franco et al. It's a set of productive capacities through the accumulation of knowledge. Therefore, from some of previous researcher, we can synthesize that human capital refers to the knowledge, skills, experience, and abilities that individual possess, which can be seen as assets or resources. All right? So, then how to measure human capital? How to know kind of human capital elements in research? So here are some references for measure human capital, or some of the scholars say dimensions: education, training, experience, and then health, knowledge, creativity, competence, and then skills, attitude, competencies, perception, uniqueness, attitude, motivation, commitment, professional knowledge, yeah, and much more. Then let's see. Still much. Yeah, knowledge, skills, expertise, human resource training and development, any kinds of development, competence, commitments, interaction among organization and employees. Yeah, the contribution of employee and also turnover effect, professional initiative for improving skills, yeah. Human capital skill, human capital knowledge, human capital capacity, and much more. This is how to measure human capital based on some previous researchers or scholars. Okay. And also this one. So I tried to find 20 journals, 20 articles from Scopus Index. Yeah. That the dimensions of human capital are like this. So from these dimensions, we often see skills, knowledge, creativity, attitude, competence rise, used by many scholars to measure human capital. Then, how is the constellation of human capital? So, I'm trying to analyze 20 journals, recently journals from 2019 to 2023. Yeah. So I found that based on a review of 20 Scopus Index journal, it can be found that human capital variable can act as influencing vectors or antecedents. And as an antecedent, human capital can be factors that influence several other dependent variables, such as organizational performance, organizational innovation, and sustained competitive advantage. And here are some references, some supported references, which found the connection of human capital with performance, innovation, and SCE. All right. So, what's the organizational performance? The scholars mostly agree that it's an organizational capacity to access and handle various organizational resources for the achievement of organizational goals and objectives. So the key is organization's capacity. And then organizational innovation, what it is, it's the creation of how the organization find new knowledge and ideas to strengthen the organization or the business process and make and develop market competitive product and service. How to be different with others organization by arising new ideas, new creation, new creativity. And then SCA, sustained competitive advantage. It's organizational investment that can enhance the competencies of the employees to achieve sustained competitive advantage. So, as antecedent, human capital will impact on these three kinds of variables. Okay. Then let's see the paradigm of human capital management relationships and strategic human resource management practices. So here is the position of human capital management that impact on organizational performance, organizational innovation, and sustained competitive advantage. So human capital management related to the acquisition, development, and management of an organization's workforce. It is critical to organization because it represents the collective of knowledge, skills, abilities, competence, experience, attitude of the employee at the workforce. So human capital management based on 20 Scopus Index research can act as an antecedent, also intervening factors, either as mediator or moderator of strategic human resource management practices such as gratitude, knowledge management, knowledge sharing, job characteristics, innovative work behavior, commitment, culture, sustainability, and strategic human resource practice itself. And these can directly affect not only to organizational performance, but also organizational innovation, as well as sustained competitive advantage. Therefore, strategic human capital management in the development, in engagement and retention of human resource is really critical to long-term viability and growth of the organization. Okay. Then, at the end of my presentation, I'm trying to present the limited and future research regarding human capital management and strategic human resource management research, such as the locus of the study, mostly a single country with cross-cutting survey used. So for future research, it can be explored perhaps from not only one country, but more than. Then the second, we also can expand the sample, both in the country studied and replicate the research in other countries to find common patterns and different inherents in each organization. Also, the third one, the use of primary data and the inclusion of objective secondary data will also increase the understanding of the phenomenon under study. Not only from primary data, getting survey, taking survey, but also from secondary data. Most of the research use primary data. Then the fourth one is panel studies with some scholars is really needed, to examine the trends over time, to explore whether the research can be explored, can be examined by many scholars. Then it also can explore how these emergent behaviors varied by age of the employee, their work experience, the gender between men and women employee, and then the qualification level of the employee and the employee appointment. And then the last one, research on how human capital is associated with other strategic human resource practices, with other types of units of analysis can be also for the future research, not only in manufacturers unit analysis, not only in a business, in company, but also more than that. It will be possible for future research. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is all my presentation, and this is the references that I use to present this presentation. You can search by yourself. And thank you so much for listening my presentation. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye.